SES, Société Européenne des Satellites, is the operating company of Astra. Astra, a satellite system designed for analog as well as digital distribution of television and radio programs throughout Europe. Created in March 1985 and based in Luxembourg, SES is Europe's first private satellite operator. The company operates under a franchise agreement with the Grand Duchy. SES's headquarters are located at the Château de Betzdorf, a former residence of the Grand Duke of Luxembourg. The company employs over 180 staff from some 15 different nations. Next to the administrative building are located the Astra ground control facilities with the large parabolic antennas which are used to control and steer the satellites in space, as well as to transmit video, audio and data signals to the satellites. A separate antenna is used for each of the Astra satellites. The Betzdorf site also comprises various communications antennas for the reception and transmission of TV and radio signals. Société Européenne des Satellites has several subsidiaries in Europe. In Germany, in Frankfurt. In the UK, in London. In France, in Paris. In Spain, in Madrid. The 8 satellites in the Astra system, of which 6 are already in operation, feature reliable technology as well as advanced satellite design. Every satellite is constructed individually, and it takes highly qualified specialists about 3 years to build an Astra satellite weighing approximately 3 tons. The satellite is very sensitive and needs to be assembled in a completely dust-free environment. Each part undergoes rigorous testing to ensure that it functions perfectly on its own and as a part of the system. Precision testing at ground level ensures that the satellite will perform perfectly in space. The first Astra satellites were launched into space from the European Space Centre in Kourou in French Guiana. The launch site of Kourou offers sophisticated facilities to prepare and test the satellites prior to launch. The spacecraft are also fueled on site. It's this fuel which allows the spacecraft to be propelled into geostationary orbit, as well as the subsequent station-keeping maneuvers. The satellite is then placed in the top capsule of the launch vehicle. On December the 11th, 1988, Arianespace Flight 27 successfully injected SES's first satellite, Astra 1A, into geostationary transfer orbit. A whole new era in satellite television had begun. Four other satellites, Astra 1B, 1C, 1D and 1E, have been launched since then in 1991, 93, 94 and 95. Astra 1F was launched in 1996 by a Russian Proton launch vehicle from the cosmodrome of Baikonur. The launch of a spacecraft on board a launcher like Ariane can be summarized as follows. 20 minutes after takeoff, the Astra satellite is injected into geostationary transfer orbit near the equator. The closest point from the satellite to the Earth is about 200 kilometers, and the furthest 36,000 kilometers. Helped by the firing of onboard thrusters, Astra is then propelled from transfer orbit into geostationary orbit. Thereafter, the satellite unfolds its 10-meter-long solar panels, which will supply the energy for the electronic systems. In low Earth orbit at a height of 300 kilometers, a satellite will revolve every 1.5 hours and spin faster than the Earth. The Moon, which is in a high Earth orbit, revolves only once every 28 days. So positioned between these two in geostationary orbit at a height of 36,000 kilometers, Astra spins at the same speed as the Earth and is therefore always seen in the same position above the equator. The optimal geostationary position for Astra is within a 140-kilometer cube. In this position, the Astra satellites are slowly but constantly moved by the elements. However, onboard thrusters controlled from the ground can be fired to correct Astra's position at any time and keep it positioned at 19.2 degrees east. The rocket fuel on board is sufficient to last the approximate 12 years or more of a satellite's life. The Astra system currently consists of 6 co-located satellites. 2 additional satellites are scheduled to be launched in 1997. With every new Astra satellite, a whole range of additional television and radio programs will be added to the system. The Astra footprint covers the greater part of Europe, from Scandinavia down to Italy, and from Spain, including the Canary Islands, across to Eastern Europe. With the digital satellites, the Astra footprint has been even further optimized, notably in Southern, Northern and Eastern Europe. Television and radio operators broadcasting via Astra transmit their programs to uplink stations at the locations shown here. The signals are then sent from these uplink stations directly to the Astra satellites. The uplink is carried out via antennas like the ones shown here in Betzdorf. The fixed antennas on the ground see the satellites as a single fixed point in the sky. So when the picture arrives on your screen, it has already traveled 72,000 kilometers at the speed of light. On June the 7th, 1988, Sky Television announced its decision to take 4 transponders and became Astra's first client. Today, the Astra satellite system offers you a wide choice of analog as well as digital television, by country, by language and by special interest, be it general entertainment or thematic channels, subscription services or programs transmitted in the clear. Additional audio subcarriers enable each television channel to carry different language soundtracks simultaneously and to carry analog as well as digital radio channels. Astra offers alternative television, radio and other new services for everyone.